Hello and welcome to another video. Today, I'm going to be talking about my plans for my setup in college. And you might be wondering why I'm even talking about this in the first place. One, to kind of give you an expectation, some expectations for how janky my setup is going to be. And two, to kind of go more in depth into my MacBook Pro video on why I got such an expensive machine without having that much knowledge of macOS. Because I understand why some people are kind of mad at me for that video. But again, let me go more in depth. For one, as I said in my last video on Mac, I fucking hate Windows pop-ups. I'm talking, I get pop-ups even before I get to my home screen, before I can even use my Windows machine. When I log in, immediately after that, boom, there's this big ass blue screen pop up saying, "Did you buy Microsoft Office 365? We have a reminder for you that you have like a 3 month free trial." Like, bro, shut up. I already said skip. I already said not interested. I don't care about your fucking 3 month free trial, whatever. Just let me be. Let me use the operating system that I have on my fucking PC. Like, just let me use it. But again, even when I say not interested, it will still pop back up. And again, just Windows itself with the updates and shit like that is just annoying. It's like, shut up. I don't care. The notifications are annoying. There's so much shit just wrong with Windows 11. Copilot is fucking terrible. Again, I know I'm just ranting, but I'm just giving more reasons for why I just prefer Mac. Yes, I know there are like allow access stuff like basically every time you boot up an application. And yes, that is annoying. However, that goes away. As soon as you press allow, I don't think that ever comes back. It will just stay that way. So again, it's just a one and done thing. Meanwhile, again, on Windows, even when you say not interested, it'll still pop back up. So yeah, again, that's a huge reason why I switched to Mac. Just the annoying pop-ups and just the general just boredom of Windows, and especially Windows 11, because it's just a very flat design. And while Mac is also kind of that as well, again, it's something fresh. Also, too, something I did not mention at all in my other Mac Pro video, some of my family members only have Apple devices, and I don't have any Apple devices besides the Mac. So the only way I'm sometimes like able to FaceTime them or even communicate with them like pretty well sometimes is again using an Apple device. So again, having a Mac is just very, very handy so I can, FaceTime them if they ever want to. And again, having those extra options. So, yeah, another reason. Three, again, better support with Apple Silicon. There are just some apps and DAWs that just do really, really well with Apple Silicon. And another thing is Apple exclusive apps. And the one I didn't mention in my Mac OS video is Apple Music, because Apple Music on Windows sucks and is a heaping pile of dog shit. Sometimes when I play music, even when it's like actively playing, it will just not play any audio, even when, the audio is connected and works properly. And again, it'll still sometimes bug out. Sometimes it'll play properly, but it will blast my fucking eardrums and be extremely loud. And then sometimes it will just straight up not work. So again, Apple Music on Windows is a buggy ass mess. And at least the Microsoft Store version, where lossless is supported supposedly. Uh, on the actual website on Windows, I don't think lossless is supported at all. So again, it's just a lose-lose situation. So again, Mac is the way to go here. So I can actually use it natively because, it's automatically installed and it has lossless audio. There's no like huge bugs or anything like there is on Windows. It's just way easier to use and less frustrating. So again, also just the Apple exclusive apps like that. I also planning on also getting Logic Pro and maybe Final Cut if I ever need it. I probably won't need it, so I probably won't get it. But if I ever do get it down the line, again, it's only available on Mac. And also just Bandcamp and Garage or Bandcamp. I'm too focused on my music. And also do support me on Bandcamp, by the way. I'll link it in the description. GarageBand and iMovie, again, only available on Apple devices, which is just very, very handy and are very nice to use. And I'm also not entirely unfamiliar with Apple devices, by the way. I've used an Apple device. I grew up with an iPad, and I know again a Mac OS and iPad OS is very different. But still, again, it's not like I'm entirely new to the Apple ecosystem at all. And I also had an iPhone 15 before I switched to this. The only reason I switched is because I just had some nitpicks with it. So yeah, next, I'll stop talking about the Mac. I've talked about it for long enough. Let's actually talk about my setup, because that's what you're probably on this video for. And I just rambled on and on about my Mac. So, first of all, I'm not planning on bringing my open back headphones because I'm planning on living in a dorm room. So, nobody's gonna want to listen to my music probably. So that's why I have these very expensive IEMs that are like $350. But I'm not going to be returning these. And I did get like two other IMs before these that I didn't really like, or before these, yeah, that I returned that I didn't really like. However, I've had these for like 2 weeks now, and I really like them. And I mean, it's a telltale sign that I like them because, again, I haven't returned them yet. So I'm going to be keeping these, and I like the detail retrieval and all that. These IEMs are very, very good. And yeah, I'll make a first impressions video on these, don't worry, but I'm planning on bringing these instead of my open back headphones. And yes, well, that kind of suck mixing wise, because I'm going to be planning on using a DAW a lot, and IMs really aren't used for mixing that much. Yeah, but closeback headphones also aren't that great. I mean, yes, there are like two new closebacks. I think like the HG 620S and like a new one from like Focal, but they still have a long ways to go. So yeah, again, that's the reason why I got IEMs, and they're also just very, 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 very transportable. I can bring these wherever. So yeah. The mouse I'm planning on bringing, because I'm not planning on just using a trackpad, by the way, is actually the mouse that's on my desk right now, the Razer Viper version 3 Pro. I actually got a second copy of this, basically just to use whenever, I have this copy with me at college, because I don't want to keep like back and forth bringing one mouse back and forth constantly. So again, I got another copy. Yes, it's also very, very expensive to get, another copy, but still, again, I think it's worth it because better build quality, because this is a very, very early batch. And again, it'll be way less of a hassle if I ever decide to come back here, on the rare instances that I do, and, just have a mouse. So yeah. And there are going to be people that say, it's probably not going to be the best for work. And yeah, it's probably not going to be amazing for work, but I still really like the shape. And again, I still like it. And again, I still plan on playing games on my Mac, just not like very competitive ones. The most competitive I plan on getting is probably Dota. So yeah, I'm not planning on like playing any competitive FPS games because there really aren't any for Mac. So yeah. That's basically it. Next, I want to talk about my musical equipment and also just general audio setup besides just IEMs. First of all, not bringing this microphone because, again, dorm room, pretty goddamn tiny. So I'm going to be bringing the Wave 3 XLR, which is a USB mic. So I'm kind of going back to my old days where I just had a fucking terrible ass USB mic just plugged in and it sounded terrible, had a lot of noise. Kind of going back to that, but trust me, this microphone will be a lot better than my old videos, like USB mic. It was like really bad. So again, bringing a USB mic because I'm not planning on bringing this big hunk of steel with me wherever I go, or not wherever I go, but again, just bringing this huge ass thing with me into a dorm room because I want to save space. But musical equipment wise, I'm planning on bringing this MIDI controller because I like making music, and this is basically essential for me because I use MIDI very, very, very often, especially for like MIDI drum patterns and stuff like that. So again, bringing that MIDI controller with me. I'm not planning on bringing this synth with me though. It's a pretty expensive synth, and I don't want to bring more expensive stuff than the stuff I'm already bringing because I'm already bringing very, very expensive stuff, so I don't want to keep piling onto that with even more expensive stuff. So, and this also is a pretty big synth, so again, I'm not going to be bringing this, and I probably don't need it anyway because, that exists. So, yeah. And also, I did see, just side tangent before I get to the other stuff, I did see somebody say that my room was empty, and yes, that's kind of true. I don't have that many posters on my wall. I am planning on getting some more, don't worry. But, I have this wall, and excuse the amount of money there. I just put a bunch of fucking change there for some reason. But yeah, I have a bunch of CDs there for the people that are interested, a bunch of plushies and shit. So again, it's not like my room is entirely undecorated. So yeah. And also for like guitars, I'm planning on probably bringing my guitar and my bass, and not much more than that. I'm not going to be bringing my mixer with me. I'm planning on bringing my previous audio interface, again, to save space, which was the Audien Evo 8. And I'm not planning on bringing this $500 big ass amp with me because, again, for the third time, it's a dorm room. No amp is allowed in a dorm room, basically, even tiny ones. And this is a huge one that produces a lot of power and can get extremely loud. Even on like the dial turn, not even like 25% of the way there, it is still very loud. So yeah, I'm not planning on bringing that. I'm just going to be using an amp sim for basically all of my music going forward until I can actually bring this in. I'm not sure if there's like a place I can actually bring my amp in to like jam out or whatever. I'll try to find that out and see if I can actually bring that. And once I actually make a video in my college dorm room, I'll give you an update on that. But yeah, and I'm also probably planning on bringing these pedals, these like unused, sad little pedals that are just in the corner of my room that I start my videos off on all the time. So yeah, I'm planning on bringing these as well because they are good pedals. I just don't really use them that often, hence why they're unplugged. So yeah, again, I know I was just yapping this entire video, and again, mainly just talking out of my ass and just yapping on about why I bought a MacBook Pro, even more than I already did my last video. But again, it's just to give some perspective and kind of, again, justifying why I got it such an expensive machine in the first place. And again, did I need it? No, even though I'm playing like Baldur's Gate 3, which is a pretty taxing game, I probably don't need, again, an M3 Pro chip on my MacBook Pro. However, it's just nice to have. And again, for the stuff I'm going to be using, it's just more efficient and just will run better with, again, basically everything. And I know some motherfuckers are saying, whoa, you don't need a MacBook Pro. Why'd you get it? When you probably have some shit that costs a lot of money that you probably didn't need either, okay? It more was just kind of an impulse buy, but I don't regret it at all. It's still just a really nice machine, really easy to use. Again, the trackpad is nice, the keyboard is nice. I like basically almost everything about it. So yeah, again, I don't regret it at all. And again, I'm gonna be using the thing a fuck ton. I'm not gonna be bringing this $2,000 gaming PC with me because again, it's a big fucking hunk of junk, and I don't plan on carrying it around with me everywhere. So yeah, that's basically it, and I will see you guys later. Goodbye.